Y'all not gonna worry me today. What he said? No, what was the name of that? It was a clothing brand. I hate that Conscious got in here. I mean, not Conscious. Choose. I'm sorry, Conscious. Choose got in here. Sorry, Choose. Talking about a silver shirt because Chico's. That's why it makes me think of Chico's. Hey, you guys. Welcome to Burgundy Blue Commentary. We talk about what we want to talk about when we're ready to talk about it. And I was getting ready for bed, and then I saw that Melanie Youngsma from the Lansing Journal dropped some juiciness right under our nose. And I thought we could watch it together. Let me say hello to everybody. I appreciate you so much. Hello, Choose Compassion. Hello, Miss Asia. How are you? Wyoming gal, Burgundy, I received the person. Oh, I'm so glad you got it. Finally. You guys, everybody should have everything. Choose everybody, y'all should have everything by Saturday, no later than Saturday. I saw it was a delay yesterday, but check your email. You should have emails. You should have emails with everything. Cynthia, you just started watching it. Hey, Dave. Hey. And let me see it. Hey, everybody. Guten afternoon. And I'm glad you guys like that. Okay, so you guys, let's let's watch this together. You know, the first thing I noticed was when I clicked it, where are Stephanie nails? Now, if you haven't seen Stephanie around, she wears stiletto long, super long nails, and it just was giving where's her nails. Now I'm gonna just play another interview so you can see like when she was talking about Tiffany, how Stephanie looked. Let's just look at this right quick.
The gas.
Look at her hands. Look at her nails.
So it wasn't paid for by the foundation.
No, it was all paid for by Thornton Township.
Did they walk the whole
Springfield
way?
wasn't open,
And they were inside.
These are the most important.
And it's funny to me because, and I don't know if she just didn't do her nails, but if I had to guess, I think that Stephanie is super duper smart and knows which audience she was going in front of regarding the Lansing Journal, and she really didn't put all that extra heavy makeup, nails. It's giving Travis. What's that dude that's marrying Sorry, Stephanie, but what's that dude that's marrying Taylor Swift? Remember his ex-girlfriend? And now he married Travis Kelce. It's giving very much Travis Kelce. Like, you just get in where you fit in. But let's go over here to the Lansing Journal. Let's see the wholesome Stephanie. Not from Dolton, Stephanie. Let's go to that. All right, guys. Cute. And Melanie, this blue is cute on you, but Melanie really has high fashion, you guys. Some of the stuff I know people don't it's labelless stuff. Because we talk fashion over here if you didn't know. Melanie stuff be high end. Her jewelry and stuff, it be high end for sure. All right, let's go to it.
You announced last Friday that you are running for Thornton Township Democratic Committee person. Mm-hmm. This comes after repeatedly telling people that you were not interested in politics or public office.
And here I am running for the most political seat in the Southland.
Wait a minute, I gotta pause. You had surgery? Oh, Miss Asia. Okay, I'm gonna reach out to you. I'm so sorry. I didn't know you had surgery. Prayers with you. Hey, Sloan. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, let's go. So we see now. This is my opinion. This is not fact. This is not true. Stephanie looks maybe she just didn't get her nails done that week, but I this is me just knowing that by her being on the Frank Zuccarelli, I'm with you. She's speaking to quote her demographic. And if you have Stephanie on a photo next to Napoleon Harris and next to Tiffany, her demographic will vote for her first. I'm there with it. Yeah.
Yes. In fact, your announcement mentioned that you've never been interested in politics or political office. So what changed? What happened?
So it's kind of been a long road. And every time I said that, the seats weren't for me, that, I was better in other capacities and didn't mean it. It's not like I didn't feel that way. I just feel like, you pour yourself into things and you have visions and those visions grow and you want to see what you're a part of, grow with that. And I think over the years, I've been afforded the opportunity to be a part of something that showed growth in the same vision that I saw. And I think that current day, I'm not in a position where that vision aligns as well. I made a choice in 2022 to support the current committeeman, and I believed in him, and I still do. I think that he does have a vision that is his, and it just doesn't look like mine. And so now I'm left in a position where the opportunity comes up where I can either just hope that it may go the way I envision it going, or I have an opportunity to step up and make sure it goes in the way I see it. Because there is a vision of growth and participation, and that may be a long-term goal for them, but it's been 4 years, and I just feel that I wasn't valued there. My experience, my opinion,
I'm sorry. And you guys, please, go to the Lansing Journal. Can someone put Lansing Journal link in the chat? I'm so sorry to ask you to do that. My hands are full right now. Could you guys do that? Because this interview will have commentary from me. I just wanted to watch it together with you guys. Make sure you support the Lansing Journal and Melanie over there. I just wonder what she means that, okay, if you're the chief of staff or the assistant, when she hired as an assistant, this is my thoughts. This is nothing to do. I like Stephanie. Okay, she's cool. But aren't you supporting what the person you're assisting doing? Or am I saying that? Am I saying that wrong? Because I don't understand how, so I guess, well, now that I'm talking out loud, maybe that is why she has to run, because maybe she's seeing stuff. But I think she should be more vocal about what she saw.
day, I'm not in a position where that vision aligns as well. I made a choice in 2022 to support the current committeeman, and I believed in him, and I still do. I think that he does have a vision that is his, and it just doesn't look like mine. And so now I'm left in a position where the opportunity comes up where I can either just hope that it may go the way I envision it going, or I have an opportunity to step up and make sure it goes in the way I see it. Because there is a vision of growth and participation, and that may be a long-term goal for them, but it's been 4 years, and I just feel that I wasn't valued there. My experience, my opinion, so I think that it's fair, because we live in a democracy and this is what we do. I think it's fair that I should be able to give it a try for myself. So that's what I decided to do.
So when you talk about growth and participation, you're talking about the electorate getting more
The
participation
organization, yes.
in the Democratic organization.
Because voter involvement is important. It's getting residents engaged.
Oh, okay. I stand corrected. So I don't think she was talking about Thornton Township. She was talking about the Democrats of Thornton. Dots connect DOTTS. So that I'm sorry, I stand corrected. However, you stood by and allowed that caucus to go on and didn't speak out about it just because you wanted Tiffany out. You know what I mean? Maybe she did behind the scenes, but she didn't come out forward. And we're going to continue to watch the interview from what I saw and say anything when we were locked out the caucus. I actually was on the side door. Stephanie was coming to the side, and I have it on camera. So this is totally on camera. And she was coming to the side to let someone in when they were calling her. And she saw me standing over there, and others, not just me, other cameras and camera phones, right? And we were all standing to the side, and she turned right around like, I can't let you in. So she was into that whole thing with the dinner before I just have to be honest. She was in that whole thing, like letting the people that were going to vote for Napoleon inside and the people they wanted to inside.
it makes the process fair and equal.
Well, let's talk about the role of committee person. I think that's a role that not many people may even be aware of,
Mhm.
or don't realize that it's something that gets voted in. Like, what does that role do? Why should the average Thornton Township resident care about that?
Well, because that role essentially endorses who your local elected officials are. So it is, part of I'm running for the Democratic Party, so it would be part of the Democratic Party. But
I heard recently that the advocate was running as an independent. So I don't know if this matches up, but by her allegedly from one side, I have to be honest, I've never heard Stephanie herself say she was part of INA. So unless you guys have, let me know. That's a problem. That's a conflict of interest.
we would slate who the supported candidates were in Thornton Township. We also would do, voter registration. So that's where my voter engagement comes in and making sure people have a part of the process. It also gives some say in if, say, seats come available. Everybody kind of watched in December as the, appointment was made for the commissioner seat. So those committeemen were the people that were part of that appointment process. So, should these seats open up, those decisions are made by the people you choose to put in those seats.
Mm-hmm.
So it is very important because they could have a say that directly affects you.
So it's sort of behind the scenes, but it has a very visible
Impact. Absolutely. And it's very behind the scenes, so much so that you're right, a lot of people might not know. It's a position that is really built on relationships and how you work with people and other elected officials. And, it's never about the money because it's an unpaid seat. It's really just about representation and making sure that what we bring here represents us the way we want to be represented.
So you referenced the current committeeman, which is Napoleon Harris.
Mhm.
And before that, it was Frank Zagrelli.
Mhm.
And I believe both of those people held that position as well as the supervisor role.
Mhm.
Is that a inherent conflict of interest?
I don't believe so. I think that they're very separate seats, actually. I think people combine them because they were held by the same person for a long time. The committee person seat is a very political seat. It 100% politics. Doesn't have anything to do with tax funds. It doesn't have anything to do, it's completely politics. Whereas the supervisor seat is a very working position. You're elected to it, but you're elected to it to do a job, not to be a politician. So they're very, very different. Like, politics isn't allowed in the township because you're using taxpayer funds, but politics as the committee person is all you do. So I actually think that one kind of has nothing to do with the other.
At least it should be that way.
It absolutely should be that way, yes. Of course, when you're one person holding, multiple seats, I don't think that they need to blend at the same time, but to think that they don't blend ever would just be,
Naive.
It's impossible. You're one person. Of course they blend. But then I don't see anything wrong in holding both of those positions. I mean, the committeeman seat, I don't believe it is a seat that can be held with any other seat because it is unpaid and there's no tax money involved at all. So it is a fully political seat.
Your announcement flyer says you are, quote, fighting for government transparency.
Mm-hmm.
Transparency is a word we hear a lot from politicians in Thornton Township.
It is.
Tell us what you mean when you use that word.
I want honest, open politicians. I just want people that can sit down and have a conversation with the residents and explain and be willing to bounce ideas, be understanding.
It sounds like you're saying there's an element of accessibility and transparency.
yeah, I just want to make sure that that communication is there, because if we can communicate about things, we can build trust. And if we build trust, we don't end up in this cycle that we've seen for the last few years, which, nobody wants to go through that again. And residents, I think, are paying attention in a manner that they weren't before. And that's invigorating for somebody like me, because that's what I want. I want them to pay attention. I want you to ask questions. If we're doing something wrong, I want you to point it out so that we can make corrections. We are not perfect. We are human. So nobody's, if your expectation is for anybody in an elected seat to reach perfection, I think that that's not fair. I think that we want to do our best by being open and honest and hearing people's opinions and making adjustments based on the majority. I think that that's a fair ask in our government. I don't think it's an unrealistic expectation. And I do think we have people that meet that. I just think that those people are overtaken by the people that don't.
Hmm.
It's there. We just have to find people that are willing to step up. And, maybe I'm the start of that, because we don't have to be one of them to run. We don't have to be a lifetime politician. We don't have to be this person that fits in this perfect little box. I don't fit in that box. I'm way outside of it, and that's okay. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't try.
It sounds like you're saying the whole system isn't broken,
The whole system isn't broken. Mm-mm.
but there are parts of it that are broken.
Yeah. But I think there are people that are willing to pick up those pieces. I believe there's people that are currently running, that are currently in seats, that really do want what's best for the community. I've seen those people. I know those people. They exist. And they exist in places that we may not think it either, Honestly, there's not a part of me that doesn't think that most of the elected officials don't want what's best. I think that when you make it a career instead of a service, it kind of changes how your decision-making process goes.
You have gone from working for Supervisor Frank Zuccarelli to being fired by Supervisor Tiffany Henyard to being chosen as a replacement trustee with Supervisor Henyard in power, to accepting a job with Supervisor Napoleon Harris, to resigning from that job. All that happened in the past 4 years.
Yeah.
How did all of that lead you now to running for?
I don't think we should have did a live on this. I don't. Can I withdraw my live? Can this be withdrawn? Y'all, this is my question. And it's a silly question. Hey, yo, Blue Island, none of y'all want to run? Thornton, the village of Thornton, none of y'all want to run? The little part of Homewood, none of y'all want to run? Markham, none of y'all want to run? Burnham, none of y'all want to run? Why is it these same people from Dolton/Riverdale want all the seats? And why Frank didn't, I guess, I don't know the proper word. I want to say groom, I guess, and it's not proper, but Stephanie for politics. And she was there 102 years. Why now? And why, again, is it a big deal? And it's no disrespect to Stephanie. I don't mean it that way. That Tiffany fired her. She was the chief of staff. It's rare, very rare, that the new administration keep their chief of staff. It's very rare. And she said out her mouth on Left of the Center podcast that Tiffany said, hey, you could have another job. And she said, well, I don't want those jobs. And she alluded to Tiffany saying, well, I'm going to fire someone so you could have a job. She didn't want that. But Jerry got fired and she took that job. Or he resigned and she took that job. whoever was the administrative assistant under Tiffany, she took that job. So I'm just confused. You know, that's just it. She, you know, I can't judge off that because she could very much just woke up one day like and said, hey, I think I could do this job. So I'm not trying to do that. But she was fighting for paying jobs this whole time, right? Oh, Stephanie lost her job and she has to support herself. Now she's fighting for an unpaid position.
Political office. Was there a triggering event? Was it all leading up to this?
You know, I think that all of it plays a part in how I ended up here. But really, this seat in particular is primarily based on my experience in the Democratic organization. It really doesn't reflect my time at the township at all. Because again, they're very separate to me. I know because it says Thornton Township, people just
And you know what? Everybody tried to, you know what, Sloan? Everyone's trying to run under Frank. Like Frank, oh, I worked for Frank. You're not Frank. That goes for what's his name that did that whole, he wore the 333 hat and he walked around. I'm adopted by Frank. Frank is gone. Frank is gone. You know, sad as it is, he's gone. We have to move forward.
assume that they're connected, but they're not.
There are staff roles there and there are elected roles there.
Correct.
That are not necessarily.
I mean, one really has nothing to do with the other. It's just a Thornton Township Democratic organization because it covers the towns within Thornton Township. It has nothing, they're not connected in any way. So I don't know that anything that happened with me as far as my employment led me here, but my participation in the Democratic organization is really what kind of put me here. I want to give it a shot and put what I feel out there. And, you know, I didn't have the capacity to do that under the organization as it sits.
Let's get specific. What are some examples of things in local government that are not transparent right now, but should be?
So we can start with something as simple as like websites. Websites are a very easy thing to show transparency. We can make a tab that says transparency. All of the board books can be up there, the invoices attached to them, the warrant list, the resolutions, you know, everything being.
We got a tab that say transparency. It don't do a darn thing when you click on it.
Beautiful. I love that.
And it's being done in some places. There are communities that do this. There are, I have, you know, over the last couple of years, done my due diligence.
Y'all, I hate this, but this is annoying me. What is this under? What's this right here? What's that under her arm?
And kind of.
It's killing me. Maybe that's how the shirt's made. Cause I'm like, what is that? That's just an odd position of what's under her arm. That's my fault because that's what happens with me. I'm just drawn to that. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just a part of the shirt on the other side.
Done research and checked meetings, and I was communicating with somebody who was explaining to me the way that Juliet does these meetings, and you know, they have the meeting where the residents can speak, and then you know, the next week is the board meeting, which goes quickly because the meeting before that, where they got all the residents' opinions and communicated with them. And their website was amazing. You can find everything you need on there. Like it was very impressive. So there are models, there are communities, even communities here that are already doing it. You know, there
Thanks,
are
Wyoming.
communities within Thornton Township that do have an amazing website that will show you their bills list and things along those lines. So there's ambition to do it. I just think it should be a consistent thing. You know, things like that make it easy because, well, now people may come and ask you specific questions about what they see, but it avoids the FOIA process of, having to spend all of this money of them trying to figure out what they need to know. We'll just put it out and then they're going to have.
Now that's pretty cool. I like what she's saying there, like the transparency and having those 2 meetings, letting the residents talk instead of saying 10 people going to talk in 30 minutes. I am with Stephanie right there for sure.
A question about this bill, but those are easy to answer rather than them flying in 700 things to find one thing that may or may not mean anything.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that sometimes as elected officials, we make it harder for ourselves by thinking that it doesn't matter to people, when it does. Just make it accessible, make it easy. But the website would be an amazingly easy way for everybody to start. I think a forum where there could be questions and answers that are, open, honest. None of us like to be, caught off guard. But again, we're human. If you don't have an answer, say that and get back to that. Follow through is important, in settings like that. But there are ways to make the residents feel a part of the process. And I think they deserve that.
Yeah, it seems to me, just from attending meetings and reporting on the goings on, nobody is looking to expose somebody or surprise somebody. People want to believe in their elected officials. They want to participate. And when simple things like a website don't happen, then people get frustrated, and that's what starts to show up at meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So even though.
Can I ask a question? Like I said, please go to the Lansing Journal without the commentary. It's live over there. Shout out to Melanie Jansma. I think she's doing a great job and letting people know that Stephanie's running. This is just questions and commentary I have. Did Frank have a website and all that stuff where you could click on and get the transparency and blah, blah, blah? I'm just wondering because it's only been 4 years? So he could have had that, but was he having those meetings and or is this something she wants to start? And I'm just speaking on Thornton Township. Now, when we get to the DOTS meetings, when are those meetings? Does anyone know? Because I'm looking at the DOTS website. When are the meetings and can the public go to see the Democrat committee person?
Those small changes can make a big difference.
Huge. Yes. And, I think that starts the process of building trust. And once there's trust, I think that, some of those questions look different. People's view change when they can trust. And I think we should all be able to trust our elected officials.
And just from my conversations with people and from things that I see on Facebook, it does feel like trust is eroding between people, and I think between the Democratic Party. I think it goes all the way up. I think people felt abandoned during the Tiffany Henyard years because no one spoke out against that. It was the people going to higher levels of government trying to get help, and it felt like they were not heard.
Mhm.
It seems to me it could take a long time to rebuild that trust. Do you have a more optimistic view?
I do, just because I think that comparing long-term service to 4 years of something that we've never actually had to witness before. Like, we get, politicians and the norm, but this was something outside of what we're accustomed to.
Extreme.
And more so just because it was made public and then she was willing to perform. So it produced a show almost, and I think that people were thrown off with how to deal with that immediately, like it was oh no, what do we do? And then I think when it came time for people to realize that something had to be done, there were so many things in place already that it's tough to explain. I think that.
What things in place are you thinking of?
Well, I mean, there were already investigations and there were already, all of that talk of things along those lines. So I don't know how that played into how people stepped in. Were there points where we definitely felt like there was no help on the other side? I would say yes. Is the trust need to be rebuilt from there? Absolutely. I'm not sure what that looks like though. I think because I've been in politics so long and there's an understanding of how things work, and I just think that I maybe am less hurt than the residents. But I don't think it was for a lack of care. In most cases, I don't believe that at all.
Now, I don't know how true this is. Because y'all, I don't know if it's late, but I really can't follow along. Well, is she answering any of these questions? I'm being honest. Is she answering any of these questions? Honestly, I would, if I had any kind of interview, I'd be like, don't bring Tiffany up. But I know everyone leans on Tiffany. You know what I mean? On how bad Tiffany is. Now, what do Tiffany have to do with the Democrats of Thornton Township committee woman seat that Stephanie's hoping to get? What does Tiffany have to do with the Democrats of Thornton Township seat? You guys, please correct me if I'm wrong. Absolutely, in my opinion, nothing. And because the Democrats of Thornton Township committee man at that time watched all this go down for 4 years and did nothing. So why are we talking about Tiffany at all? And that doesn't make me in love with Tiffany. I'm just wondering, aren't we supposed, like, this just always just goes in this circle where we go all the way back to Zuccarelli, all the way back to Tiffany, and we never hear what the opponents, what the new people will do. But transparency, integrity, the residents. That's all we hear over and over. We've been hearing it in Dolton. We've been hearing it in Thornton Township, but no one can stand on their own two legs and tell us what they're going to do. And this is not just against Stephanie. It's just everybody. It's always, the Tiffany Henyard stuff. We want to make it like Frank Zuccarelli again. What do this have to do with Tiffany? I'm just asking. She's being too cautious. It's like she's trying to not say what she really means. I could see that. Choose. I'm coming to get your phone. Yeah, she's saying nothing. She's saying, "Hey, hero." The longer you're in politics, the less I trust you. It's just like, didn't we hear someone stand up at a meeting before they said, "You gone, bitch," and say she's a mother, she's a this, she's a that, she's this, and she don't even it y'all, we in danger, girl. Thornton Township, we in danger, girl.
When you say it wasn't a lack of care, you mean from levels of Democratic government.
Right. I just think there was a level of surprise that nobody knew how to deal with it. Like, it really was unlike anything we've seen here before. It was a tough 4 years. It was, really tough for them.
What does this have to do? And y'all, I need someone to tell me because we're going to have to Google this. What does this have to do with the Democrat of Thornton Township committee person role that you're running for? This has been 15 minutes of Tiffany and Zuccarelli.
The residents. And then just for the whole area in general. Nobody wants that kind of publicity.
But now it feels like it's happening again.
Nobody wants that publicity, but you were complicit in bringing that publicity to Thornton Township. You were sitting next to Ben Bradley, making sure that you brought the Napoleon stuff into the township.
I don't think they're the same. I think that it feels like there has been a dent in the trust.
Y'all, why is Melanie so funny? Y'all, look at what Melanie did. Hold on. Y'all, if you're like me when I be listening just in my headphones, look at what Melanie did. Please. The shade.
Publicity.
But now it feels like it's happening again.
I don't think they're the same. I think that it feels like there has been a dent in the trust. And I think that dent in the trust has made people
somebody, y'all run over to the Lansing Journal and make sure you subscribe and donate to that 501. Is it the 501c3? Look at how Melody put up that bingo night poster. They got Tiffany right there. They got Napoleon and his crew right there. They're not the same. No, Napoleon would never do what Tiffany did. No, they're not the same.
I think that this looks like what it was. I think I should just be clear. In my heart, I believe that Tiffany was a criminal. I do not believe that.
Okay, y'all, can I take back this live? This live was self-destruct in 5, 4, 3. In my heart, I believe Tiffany was a criminal. Can anybody say something about this? In my heart, I believe Tiffany was a criminal. Do that hold up in the court of law? See, this has been the whole problem since the beginning. No one has proof. Did they see that? Did you guys see my video on the highway commissioner, thanks to Paul Roberts, bringing out the FOIA request and how he's going golfing and dry cleaning and Starbucksing and Chick-fil-Aing? And wasn't Stephanie the same person that said, oh, look at these credit cards from Tiffany buying wigs and going to hotels or whatever she was doing? It's the same thing, using your taxpayer dollars for their own personal reasons. Why are we picking up a dry cleaning tab right after this horrible thing that you guys are saying Tiffany did? In my heart, I feel like she's a criminal. Or is it that you guys just don't like her? You just didn't like her. You don't like how she ran things. Why isn't she in jail yet? Tiffany should be. It's this girl here in Chicago. I don't know if y'all heard about it, but she was a travel agent. And put a 1 in the chat if you heard about it. She was a travel agent, and she had that business for years called Fly Girl, and she had it for years, and people used her repeatedly. But this year, all of a sudden, like, people were going over to the Maldives, get there, and their room was canceled. So they're over there in Greece or wherever somewhere and don't have a room, and she would stop answering the phone. When I tell you, the feds wrote a letter, posted it, went on the news, told everybody they're after this person right now, instantly. Now, Tiffany then Kamal stole $900,000 from a $1 million grant. Tiffany was in the backyard burning all the records to Thornton Township and Dolton. What y'all give me something else Tiffany did. She set up the whole Vegas situation with the pills. What else did Tiffany do, y'all? Give me one example of what else Tiffany did. She got the wigs and she went to the White House and she commingled funds. What else did Tiffany do? I just want one more thing. Tiffany did a lot. She built the ice skating rink and didn't tell nobody. So people was passing by Greenwood and they was like, what's going on over there? Nobody knows what's going over there. And then all of a sudden it's $1 million ice skating rink. She locked us all out of Village Hall. She put up the metal detectors. She only let 20 people in at a time. What else did Tiffany do? She gave me a house. Winky, yes, she gave me a house. Oh, Scott, she cashed a $500,000 check at the currency exchange. Oh, she did her mama driveway and kept the rest of the money. What was it, 300 and some, which that company still works for Dolton to this day. She spent 300 some $1,000 on just one driveway and never did any other places. The tree trimming, she cut all the trees and stole the money. And the feds haven't done anything yet. She hasn't even gotten a paper cut or a parking ticket. I wasn't there, so I don't know what she did. But now she stole all the money. We got money to buy the Pope House, additional houses. We having a car show tomorrow on Greenwood. We have a party every weekend. We have Bid Whist, bingo, and blue cheese. We have whatever is going on. And it's like, oh, she took the money, but just she tried to get me to run for trustee, and Gardis was gonna be mayor. What else happened? Drew said she was pretty. That was a big problem. The food, oh man, Raging, those food boxes are looking rough. They stopped Christmas for the kids because they said, oh, Tiffany, where the toys, where the toys at? We're not approving these toys. The senior wanted ice cream. They stopped all that. But in my heart, hear him say, in my heart, I'm a millionaire. Hey, hear him. In my heart, I'm Beyonce. In my heart, I'm Beyonce. In my heart, I'm Vanna White. By a vow. What are you talking about? This is crazy that they're still going after this girl like this. Like, oh no, she got evicted. What else did Tiffany do? She did some more stuff. What else did she do? She bought a BMW with the township money. She sold it $10,000. Skip the other 5 people that co-signed on that $10,000. What else did she did? What else did she do? Oh, she bought the land for Kamal for St. Patrick's, then built St. Patrick's, but now St. Patrick's is cool. Now they not cool no more. What else did she do? Oh, she put those banners up. And stole the money, but then the company came and took them down and repoed them. But of course, they don't tell you that you had to pay for that. She hired Keith Freeman. Wyoming said, I'm thinking Stephanie is going to believe the interview went the wrong way. All my grandchildren got the toys. Raging, they in the living room right now. She hit Jed with a microphone. What else happened? She fed the people. Now I'll tell you what the criminal thing she did was that rap song. Now that should be now that's criminal. She drank Pepsi instead of liquor. She had the nerve to dress like Scoutmaster Tiff. Shout out to Late Night Crew. Oh, the Tahoes that's still out there operational. She was gonna the garbage wasn't gonna get picked up, got picked up. Cars gonna get repoed, didn't get repo. She didn't do the $500,000 AT&T bill, but y'all don't want to hear about that. But all these things Tiffany did, and she has yet to get a parking ticket. She was the most now think about it. Tiffany could have did all these things, but she was the most publicized mayor in the world. People all over the world was talking about her. She's the most corrupt mayor in the world. And not the Girl Scouts didn't even take her badges away. Just really think about it without keeping the hate that they have told you to have in your heart for her. Now, I'm not there. I didn't see what paperwork went, but neither did y'all. Neither did y'all see anything but a PowerPoint presentation that was made on a Leapfrog Pro to tell you what Tiffany stole allegedly. Oh, we got $40,000 on Amazon. So do other businesses. Everybody's like, ooh, now it's okay. Now it's okay. Ray just said, I kind of miss her crazy. She stole a fire truck. She brought in Kiki Wyatt on purpose. Y'all are so funny. Okay, let's go.
Is the case now. So for me,
With Napoleon.
I think that it feels like there has been a dent in the trust. And I think that dent in the trust has made people think that this looks like what it was. I think I should just be clear. In my heart, I believe that Tiffany was a criminal. I do not believe that is the case now. So for me, with Napoleon, absolutely not. I would never think that. There is a difference between it. There is a difference between, I think that the way he's choosing to handle things, in his full right, I think the public isn't receiving well. But I would not compare it to anything that Tiffany has done, to be fair. I think it feels similar because of the way it's being presented. But, I mean, the things Tiffany did, it's just not the same.
So the fact that they both tried to raise their salaries, and that was one of the first things.
Let me tell you something. This interview gonna blow up. Melanie about to make a bag on this interview. This is she's now to make the bag, Melanie, and I'm not a journalist, but I did take literature 101. Now, if I pass, that's yet to be determined. However, put Tiffany in the title and watch everybody run to it. This is a great question. The raising of the salaries. I wonder how this will be answered. This is a great great. Now, I will have to backpedal for a second because Tiffany didn't try to raise her salary technically. Okay, let's go through the history. Again, I'm not a journalist, but this is my lane right here with the history a little bit. You know what I mean? I did take history 99. Okay, South Suburban. Now, and I was at Robert Morris where our super mayor graduated selling what she was selling, beefaroni. Was it Chef Boyardee? No, it was, what's that called? Hamburger Helper. $40 a cup. I was there. Okay. So no, I wasn't there, but something like that. So okay. Picture it. Thornton Township, 2022. Frank passed away. Okay. And when he passed away, she inherited his salary. Now I know Melanie know this. This is just me giving the history. So she was at that 200,000 plus that Frank had earned. Napoleon was supposed to, let's not even go back to when Tiffany tried to split that 57,000 in half for the supervisor. That did not go through. He was supposed to be at that first term income. I told you guys from the beginning, if you thought Napoleon Harris was going to step foot in Thornton Township at 57,000 a year, you were sadly mistaken. It wasn't shade. It was just he's not going to do it. Then the salary was raised through that bill through the Crohn's disease situation. So I'm excited to see how she's going to answer this because that is a brilliant question. Now, to go back, Tiffany did try to say if she did win again, her salary will stay the same. That's I just wanted to clarify that, the breakdown on Berg's turf. Shout out to South Suburban. I said, that man, I tried to enroll in a class one time And they were like, ma'am, they gave me that bill. And when you pay this, then you'll go right back to class. I was like, dang it, they caught me. Okay, guys, I was worse than Tiffany with the check to South Suburban. Let's go. All right, let's go and see. And y'all hit the like button. Thanks for being here.
The things Tiffany did, it's just not the same.
So the fact that they both tried to raise their salaries, and that was one of the first things that Napoleon did, you don't think that's the same?
I
They did
think,
it legally, but it was pretty sneaky.
but okay, so
He's not a criminal.
he's not a criminal, and that's what I said. That's what I said. I believe that Tiffany is a criminal. I do not believe that about Nabo. I believe the way he presented it. Again, if he would have sat down at his table and
This whole, can I say something? Y'all go to the Lansing Journal if you just want to watch the interview and don't hear my commentary. It's right there on the YouTube channel Lansing Journal page. The fact that we're sitting here and not saying in a clear interview that Stephanie's not addressing Supervisor Harris or former supervisor. I know you wouldn't do that to Tiffany, you know what I mean? But Supervisor Harris or State Senator Harris, this is very telling on how close they are. Because I would never walk up to Napoleon and say, "What up, Napo?" You know what I mean? Even though that would probably be accepted, it's the same thing they would do with Tiffany. They would sit up there and I've never seen a mayor where you don't see someone and say, "Hey, Mayor." All the mayors we've had in Dolton history, when you see them, you say, "Hey, Mayor." You know what I mean? It's just a sign of respect and a title they earn. Even when you see trustee, I say, "Hey, trustee," stuff like that. It's just, that's just what it is. If I would have saw Stephanie, I would say, "Hello, trustee," immediately. You know what I mean? The fact that it's just like this, NAPO, he's not a criminal, and you can't answer the question. I appreciate Melanie for being gentle, but applying the pressure at the same time.
But it was pretty sneaky.
But okay, so
He's not a criminal.
he's not a criminal, and that's what I said. That's what I said. I believe that Tiffany is a criminal. I do not believe that about Nabo. I believe the way he presented it. Again, if he would have sat down at his table and explained to the residents why he was doing what he was doing, you might have had a group of them that were upset. Absolutely. But upset and trust can still go hand in hand.
So you think
That's
he
why
had good reasons that he just didn't explain?
No. I think he had reasons. And that's okay for him because it's his decision to make. He's in the seat. I have to respect that. I didn't agree with the process in which he made the decision, which is why I made the decision to leave. It's not because he did anything illegal. He didn't do anything wrong. It was all completely legal. I just felt like the residents deserved more.
It feels certainly like it would be hard for someone making that salary to relate to people in Thornton Township.
I think they can. I think that I just, I don't think his income makes him view the constituents any different.
And I'm not necessarily saying that being wealthy automatically makes you look down on people, but it might make you unaware of the struggle that it is to stand in line for a service or to rush your kids to school and work a 12-hour-a-day job. It's a different kind of just awareness of how easy some things can be when they're not that easy for the constituents you're serving.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure that comes into play here. I think that something that would be a good idea would just be, maybe figuring out like where the focus the residents want to see in the township and kind of the people getting that together and presenting that. Like, I do feel sometimes that as humans, we instantly like get very defensive and very forceful. And, you know, the minute people started to see something that like felt funny, it was I think that it would be better to know what we wanted to see and express that rather than to, you know, just say, well, we don't want that, or we don't want that, or we don't. Tell us what you want. You know, that goes back to that open, honest conversation, that transparency, that I think that bridge needs to be connected, and then there, you know, could be a little better.
And I think people are telling this administration what they want. They're, you know, submitting requests, they're asking questions, and they're not getting answers. And then that also smacks of Tiffany Henyard, where we couldn't get information. We went through all the processes, we tried all the different ways of communicating and just got nothing. And that feels very similar.
Mm-hmm. The best thing I can say is that there is a learning curve. Was you get a lot thrown at you when you come in there. And then when you have a predominantly, you know, new board, so you're not going to get much guidance there because everybody's learning. The employees, the ones, you know, that have been there long term, that are still left, of course, their knowledge is great, but I do think that some time should be allowed to figure it out. You know, if I'm being honest, of course, there's a part of me that thinks it could have been easier if you would have valued the knowledge when you had it there, because I was willing to give it all. It's not like I was keeping any secrets or, but I think,
So 4 months is not enough time to.
It's a lot. 4 months is pretty quick. 6 months, you got a better grasp. A year, you know, but I mean, my big goal was like, I've already been there. I've already done that. And, you know, I was willing to hand it over. I feel bad that I made a decision to leave because all of that did come with me. I hope they tap into the people that they have there to try and, you know, pick them up a little bit quicker. I would ask people just to be patient because, well, we don't have a choice, I guess. I don't think it's for a lack of caring. I just think that, and I say lack of knowledge, but not in a bad way, just in a, you know, we're trying to get in and get it. Now, the one thing that I will say, I did watch the last meeting, and I did hear in the meeting the clerk say that they were, you know, trying to catch up on the FOIAs. I did get 2 responses to FOIAs that I submitted in 23 and 24. So to be fair, they are catching up.
Okay.
So I will say that
I feel like I'm lost. I'm sorry. I probably am not the best person to give commentary on this, and I don't know if it's me. Maybe we'll go back and see if someone else does commentary on this, because I'm confused on why we keep going to. Is Garden still here? Why do we keep going to Thornton Township? She's not running for Thornton Township, right? She's running for the Democrats of Thornton Township, right? The Democratic committeeman, not the full political, like she said, that's all political, not the public aid office of Thornton Township, right? I'm very confused. Yes, Choose is hilarious tonight. She's doing commentary in Spanish.
2024 now.
that resonated with me, because when she said it, I was like, well, I did get responses to very old FOIAs. So it might not be as fast as we want to see. I think it's happening. Communication is tough. I agree with you. The communication could be better. You know, somebody could be writing down those questions that the residents have at those meetings and then getting contact information. Call them back. answer the questions so that they don't get up the next meeting and the next meeting. And so there are communication things that could kind of break down some of that. But it can be overwhelming. Like, remember, these people that have to respond to these FOIAs also have other work duties that need to be maintained along with, getting all of this information.
But what's the law? When Tiffany was there and FOIAs weren't answered in 5 business days, y'all were ready to sue. So what's the law? So now we have to be lenient with the new administration and wait on the FOIAs because they're backlogged, or do you go ahead and you have to do what you were elected to do and double up the time? You know what I mean? It has to be a system in place. When Tiffany was there, y'all was, it wasn't 5 days, you were putting in a lawsuit.
And that goes back to our transparency page, which may eliminate a lot of this having to happen. So, I don't disagree when you say that, the residents feel like some of this is what we just went through. I think just because I have an internal view, I guess I'm not quite feeling that same way, because I know the amount of work it takes to, imagine coming in and having 1,876 FOIA requests sitting in a mailbox for you. Like,
Is that the real number?
It's not.
I'm gonna write that down.
It's not, but it's ridiculous. Hell, it may be more than that, honestly. It's a lot. So I think that when it comes to some of that stuff, there does need to be understanding. But again, I'm with you with the communication, because that could solve a lot of it.
And some of the things people are asking for don't necessarily need a FOIA. So if somebody would just answer the question, that would shorten the process.
Yeah.
It would not add to the backlog.
Yeah, I'm not sure about stuff like that. I can't. That wouldn't be my approach. Is the best thing I can tell you. But
You're not running for supervisor, you're running for committee person.
Correct.
Is there any influence the committee person role can have on the supervisor role or the township government role?
mm-hmm. Other than, who the committee person would decide to support in the 2029? Yeah, 2029 election.
It sounds so far away.
It does sound so far away.
Do you think Napoleon Harris is a good committeeman?
I think that he has great ideas. Yeah, I don't think he's a bad committeeman. I think his vision is just different than mine. I really believe that.
Baby, if you ever saw someone that is riding the fence, I don't want y'all to ever hear Burgundy Blue is riding the fence. This is I don't know what kind of this the Sierra ride of riding the fences. This is a My Little Pony ride. I'm like, are you running against Napoleon? What are you doing? So now that I'm watching this, because we saw As the World Turns, the Awakening, Dolton version. We saw that happen. Do you guys think Napoleon even wants that Democrat committeeman seat anymore? Does he want to go somewhere else, like possibly South Suburban, and be president of that? I think Wells is over there. Because this is very odd what's going on now. And also, trying not to be biased here, but it's just probably a little bit there in me right here with this section here, but I'm trying to have an open mind. With Stephanie seeing all the things happening in Harvey, being part of what happened in Dolton, can you really trust her to be the Democratic committee man person, and being the secretary of INA? Can you trust her to be in charge of who's selected and who she rides and supports? That's kind of interesting. That's just something I have to say. How would that go?
That's what it is. I have a very unusual connection to the residents. It's it's probably different than a lot of politicians. I mean, I've seen some that are very, interactive in event settings, but like, I just come hang out with everybody. So I think that my view and my passion on the way I want to serve people looks different because of my relationship with the people.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going against an incumbent,
An incumbent, yes.
which is difficult anyway.
With the Democratic Party support, so that makes it even more difficult. Yeah, it is going to be a competition, but just like the supervisor, I was an athlete too, and we like competition. I think it's going to be a fun race. I again, there's no hard feelings. I'm not running against him because it's personal. I'm just running against him because I feel like, like I said, I have a vision and I want that vision out, and it's different than his vision. So when we were together, my vision's here, his vision's here. They may both.
This interview, did we even hear the vision? Did y'all remember the vision? Was it transparency again? Because sometimes I just block that out when it's always transparency. It's like I didn't heard that. Choose had a great point of what people, the same people, and you guys, that's the problem. You got the same people at the podium, you got the same people at the meeting, so we only can blame ourselves for not participating and really holding their feet to the fire. Can you imagine how the trustees and everyone would look when they see a wave of new people from Dixmoor, Calumet City, Burnham, rushing it, Homewood, Blue Island, especially if and I'm gonna say it, the people of Thornton, which is predominantly they got more white people in Thornton, show up. The people in Lansing show up, and they come to these meetings, and it's not the same people getting at that podium. They would poop their pants because they wouldn't be able to just control the narrative of the same people that are getting these promises. So you have to get out there and show up. If they had people that was from Harvey that only spoke Spanish show up to these meetings, that would throw them in a tizzy. If they had Muslim people come, if they had Indian people come, if they had Asian people come, more and more, they would be scared straight. Because right now it's the same group, and that's why they feel like they have the support of all of Thornton Township, because no one else shows up. Only the people that are promised, if they do this, if they do that, if you rip off your wig, I give you that. If you scream and yell, you going to jail, I give you that. That's what it is. If more people, and that includes the media, if different media people show up and not just the media people they control, they would have no way out. You will see a big change. So show up to these meetings. More men, if we had more men show up and drones.
Both have the same end goal. We're just taking different roads to get there. And I just want to try my road. That's all.
I
And I'm being 100%. Why I could name the men that show up to the meeting. Dan Lee, Gardis Watts, Paul Roberts, Ryan's Gay Chicago. Again, let's do it. Say it in Spanish, choose. Ryan's Gay, we're gonna say it backwards. Ryan's Gay Chicago. Curtis Watts, Dan Lee, and I forgot the other one already. And Paul Roberts. That's it. I can name the men that show up to the meetings. Once in a while, you'll see Don Core. Add Jed in here, basically. You could count on one hand how many men gonna be at the meetings. Officer Storm. That's it. Show up to these meetings.
would guess, I'm totally making this up, I've done no research on this, but I would guess that a lot of people who run for office or who are involved in politics and have been involved for a while
are not really that interested in voter turnout. They would do better if fewer people came out.
I guess at a larger scale, that depends on where you're from and who you are, and what your goals are. Some people want higher voter turnouts because it gives them,
They're trying to reach new people.
right, further reach, better abilities to improve communities. Of course, there are a large group of people that would hope your voter turnout would be very high. But yes, you could be right. There could be a group of people that are uninterested in it because the underdog
Status
can
quo.
kind of skate through and just everybody's comfortable if nothing's ruffled.
But a big part of your platform is getting more people involved. You talk about the power of the vote. Is there really power in a vote?
There is. Have you ever lost an election by 2 votes? There's power in a vote. Because I've seen it happen. In my very own community, I watched somebody lose a mayor seat by 6 votes.
Mm.
It's a community I live in. I could count those 6 votes. Like, it absolutely, every single one of those votes makes a huge difference. Again, if I can get people engaged, if I can hit 5,000 more voters out than were out last election, then I feel like we're accomplishing something. If I can get younger people involved, I think that that's important.
How should people get informed about their choices?
Well, it's 2025, so internet is probably our best way. I think that sometimes regular meetings, of course, as a Democratic organization, those would happen anyways. But I think, again, website, making all of the candidates, visible on the website, making, bios attached so that people can be informed. Forums where these candidates can openly speak and be asked questions open, honest questions, open, honest answers.
You know what, Winky, and sorry guys, we're almost done. I hope not either, but this is again why you have a press person, which I think her and Nikita are friends, right? This is why you have a press person, and that's why if you're running on a politician's, if you look at the table, and this is just tea. I know that Stephanie wants to be down to earth. You Melanie looks more like the person running than Stephanie. You know what I mean? You dress all the way, and you guys, like I said, I'm a sweatshirt person. Every time you see me, I got a muumuu or a sweatshirt on. But this is like what I do. You're running for office. You come in there with your blazer on. I don't know what it is with Dolton that people want to come in like our mayor wear a polo shirt or I've never seen Brandon Johnson show up to a press conference with a polo shirt on. You know what I mean? Or someone running for office. Hell, a dude, who's he running for the Congress or whatever? He had on a 3-piece suit. You show up all the way. You always have a bottle of water with you. Because we don't know what's in the cup, which we know is coffee, but you always have a bottle of water with you, so they know it's a bottle of water. You have a blazer on, you have a button up on, you have your hair up in a nice little bun in the back. You always want to come in and present yourself. You would never see Michelle Obama, Tiffany Henyard. You come in all the way done. Now, unless this was impromptu and it's like just come on and sit down. I don't know that, so not trying to judge there. But yeah, I see the comments about that one because it was bothering me too, and that doesn't mean nothing. That could have happened on the way. It could have been anything, but as something as announcing your candidacy, you always have a blazer in your car. It don't matter who you are. If you're doing a business meeting, if you're in real estate, just put a basic blazer, go to the thrift store, put it in your car so you always ready.
Get to know who the candidates are. Really,
What can residents do about candidates who won't participate in those forums?
Don't vote for them. If they won't express to you who they are, if they won't give you an opportunity outside of
Melanie had that up there. She said Napoleon and them would not participate in the forum because they felt like they didn't have to. And they were right. They won. They won just because they were on Napoleon ticket. Nobody had to say anything else. And that sucks because they at least should want to show the community, even though we knew he was a win. We knew that anyone running against Napoleon, which I have to give credit to Nate, because Nate did try and he got a few votes. He really did. We might have, I don't know. Would we have been better off with Nate, or would Nate be more influenced? I'm not sure, looking at what's happening now. But yeah, just to show up and show people you were down to earth would have been cool.
that forum to see what they stand for, or to another option. They don't have to participate in the forum, but if you're not given a way to get to know them, then just don't vote for them.
So you would say communication is important even before you're holding office.
I mean, isn't it
It's part of
important
the campaign,
in life?
and residents should be aware of that.
Yes.
The election for this position is in March 2026. How soon do you think you would be having an impact on politics in the south suburbs or in Illinois?
Hopefully right away. That would be my goal.
Mm.
Yeah, my goal, honestly, win or lose, my goals don't change. I mean, my ability, obviously, to do them in the manner in which I'm thinking would be different, but there were people from every community that I have built amazing relationships with. Like, as if I didn't already feel privileged to have served them for all these years. Now I have these like great connections with.
I want to see one person that's not from Dolton. That's all. Show me the receipt of one person from a community that's not Dolton. And I don't mean Dolton with Jason, Calumet City with Thaddeus, Riverdale with Mayor Cheeks. I mean, I want you to go way off. Not the Markham mayor either, because we know how he is. I want you to go way off and find someone we have never seen and bring them up that's into politics and show that relationship.
People who really want good for their communities. And I think that as long as that continues to be my drive, I can still make impacts in any way. So March 1st, March 17th, January 31st, August 15th, it doesn't matter. I mean, my goals are the same. So I think that I'm not going to wait for March. I'm going to try to impact today and tomorrow and the next day.
What should voters know before March 17th?
Get involved. I mean, I'm well aware I'm not the committee person right now, but there are Democratic organization meetings monthly. I think it's the third Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. Don't wait. Get involved now. The election is right around the corner. If you want to know who's running, if you want to know, go to these meetings. You know, I don't want involvement because I'm there. I want involvement because the communities need it. So him, her, me, whoever it is, get involved.
Okay, great interview, Melanie. How do I feel about it? I think the word she had at the end sum it up, get involved. I know it seems like I was hard on Stephanie. However, we have to call out what we've seen over these months. And I implore you to start from the beginning. If you want to go over it, let me know. Put a 1 in the chat and we can another day. And I'll tell you to start here. Start here. Start here. Go to the Dane Planko interviews. Start at this Left of the Center podcast with the Hammond, Indiana mayor. McDermott and hear Stephanie's point of view there. Start there. Keep on going. Go to all those Dane Planko interviews. Go to the interview with what's his name, Tommy G. Go over all of that and compare with what Stephanie said Tiffany was doing then to what is going on now. You know what I mean? Um and go from there. That's what I'm saying. Like if you okay, Tiffany's a criminal, but you're shutting your eyes on things that are brought to the forefront. Um Shutting down people. I was listening to a podcast today saying how they were kicked out of Dolton politics and the Thornton Township politics and all of that stuff. Ignoring all of that because you like one person and you dislike another, in my opinion. I think that's weird. And not her, I just think the situation is weird. Because if you're seeing stuff happen in Thornton, you were the first person to blow the whistle when Tiffany was doing it. Shouldn't you, if you care about the residents, blow the whistle now? You know what I mean? And say, hey, y'all, slow up. Now, in her credit, maybe she did slightly do that by saying, hey, y'all, I don't want to be a part of this because I see what you get somebody else to do it. I see what's happening, but I just don't feel like she conveyed that in that interview. She almost seemed scary in that interview. So because she seems scary about speaking up, like she's not speaking up at all. And I don't mean against Napoleon. I'm not talking about she should have spoke up against Napoleon. I want to be clear. She wasn't even speaking up for it's just I got my own ideas, he got his ideas. I got my own vision, he got his vision. Be assertive, and this is her first interview. Hopefully in a few months, like January or so, Melanie can do another interview and we'll see how Stephanie talks on that one. And she because I'm really shy. I am scary when the camera's on, which is why you guys don't see me on here now. So but she's running for public office. She has to stand up. Let's talk about it. Things are going to come up. But I think she's shy because you know how people, if you get on the wrong side, how they'll hire someone to drag you. Put your boobs on the internet, maybe. You know what I mean? We saw that before, right? And now to be a secretary, we need to talk about that. I wish Melanie would have asked about the INA thing, even though I know that's not her road. But hopefully later on, she will ask that question. Are you a secretary of INA? That is something that people need to know. That should not be ignored. Yeah, we in danger, girl. If y'all can get up and move. If you want to hear anything I just say, get up and move. Get up and move. If you have loved ones here, get them up out of here. Okay. Committee person. Yeah, I'm sorry. I would debate her and not on YouTube in person. Yeah. Oh, you're gonna run? Yeah, run. These black folks can't run nothing. Yeah, it sounded really scary. Now let's watch this. Now this is what I want to talk about. I did this video. It's really short. Let's go through this. And she knows this, but it's all Tiffany a criminal. Nah, boo boo. Nah, y'all. How long y'all gonna lean on Tiffany? How long y'all gonna lean on Tiffany? Y'all got the bag now. Y'all got the bag now. You was in that caucus. Now where the birds are singing, the sun is shining. It's a brand new day because we have removed the wicked witch of the Southland, right? She's gone. So everything should be on the up and up, and we shouldn't have any problems. I would like to thank Mr. Paul Roberts for sharing part of his FOIA request. And this is a credit card receipt. So let's take a look. Okay, let's start at the bottom. We have Casey Nesbitt, who's our clerk. Looks like it's in the up and up. She's spending money on things that we would expect the clerk to spend money on. Then let's go on up to Antoine Russell. Now, what is Antoine Russell's job in the township? I had to look myself. And president of Democrats of Thornton Township. Thornton Township board meeting. Is he a trustee? Let's get back to it. He's the Thornton Township Highway Commissioner. Okay. Whew, that was hard. Okay, so let's go back to this credit card. Let's go right back to this credit card. So we got Antoine Russell. And what did Antoine do? Dry cleaning. Okay. He spent taxpayer dollars, $66 on dry cleaning. Okay, I guess you gotta look sharp. Menards, $321.29. Was it something for the highway? Okay. Let's go to the next one. What else does he have? He have Starbucks, $7.19. Okay, we gotta pay for Top Golf in Naperville, $154.35. Chick-fil-A, $3.21. The French fries or the lemonade, $3.21. Highway Commissioner Russell, you couldn't spend your own $3. I digress. And loudly, we have Cloudways, $502.50. Now, why would he spend $502? I'm sorry, y'all couldn't hear. Oh, can y'all hear me? Can you hear now? That was probably me taping it. Okay, so now we got it right here. So this is the first couple of weeks that the new highway commissioner, who took Peppy, Peppy that just sat over there quiet these years, he took his position. Now, remember, Tiffany, when she was in office, they said everybody gets one credit card, just one credit card for everybody. Poor, what's his name? What's our guy name? Sit down, Robert. Poor Robert was just going crazy because he had to run to go get some cake, and he went to I think he went to he didn't go to DePaul. What's that thing? Notre Dame. So he like, look, I went to Ivy League and I gotta go get cake from Calumet Bakery. So this is the new highway commissioner. Now remember, look at the dates. May 29th. They didn't get in. Hold on. When was Napoleon Harris sworn in? Hold on. What was they sworn? Hold on. Let me take my glasses. Let me put my glasses on. Y'all, Illinois State Senator Napoleon Harris was sworn in as the new supervisor of Thornton Township on May 19th, 2025. Okay. That was when the ceremony happened. Okay. We had a whole weekend. The money was burning a hole in this man's pocket right here, the highway commissioner. So much so that this is just one page, again, courtesy of Paul Roberts, shout out to him, where he spent $86 on dry cleaning, $321 at Menards, $7.19 at Starbucks, $154.35 at Top Golf, $3.21 at what's this called? Chick-fil-A, and $502.50 at Cloudways, which is a online like website builder service situation. What he need that for the highways commissioner, and we only got like 6 blocks that is covering. Melanie Youngsma covered that as well. What does the highway go to the Lansing Journal? In 8 days, he was spending money. As soon as they put the credit card in his head, he over in Naperville at Top Golf. What do that have to do with Thornton Township charitable services? Stephanie see all this. She's she's an admin for the page that it was posted on. She sees this, and it's no, Tiffany's the criminal. this is okay. Y'all, we in danger, girl. Move. Okay? Pack up your stuff and move. Okay? Get the heck up out of here if you can. It's gonna get worse. No, I mean, and the blatant way that this will be done right after Tiffany, allegedly, she did everything horrible, spending money irresponsibly, even though we never saw a credit card in her name per se. Y'all said that she made other people buy the stuff for her. Now you got a credit card name attached to this person. Now, this is just one credit card. And he went to Top Golf on y'all money. How do you feel about that? Stephanie Weideman for Democrat committee person. All right, y'all, let's get on let's get on out of here. Let's get up out of here. Let's get up out of here. Winky, you can why your Starbucks and Chick-fil-A? First of all, I want to give it up for this brother for the restraint, because I need to have a waffle fry and a lemonade. So mine would have been over $3.21. So he must have got a coffee or something. I would have had chicken noodle soup. I like that. I like the salads, and I like the waffle fries and the lemonade. Y'all, welcome to Thornton Township, where it's who you like. And all this openness about, we want more people to vote, only the people that they like. If you came up there and saying, hey, can I register to vote? I'm a Republican. You think they're going to say yes? No. Sloan is crazy. Read it, Robert. Read it. Robert, sit down. All right, y'all, I'm out of here. We were long-winded, and I appreciate you. I just appreciate this interview too. You guys, not telling you who to vote for. I never do. Use your own mind, but do your research. Please look into everybody. Do your research. Send them an email. Ask them the questions, and hopefully they can answer them. Like I said, maybe Stephanie was very nervous this time. As a person, I don't have a problem with her. But I do have a problem with how she watched everything going down. Not that she's supposed to jump in the fight and stop anything, even though she did. We watched the play, but she did run towards the fight for whatever reason. But it seems like it was a underplay for the overplay the whole time. And Tiffany's out the equation. Now it's about you. Now, this is my prediction. I always give y'all a prediction. If Napoleon is not on that ticket, she will win. If Napoleon's on that ticket, she will not win. And I think it's more of a group pool to get Napoleon out anyway, and to appoint someone to Napoleon's seat. That's my take on it. Do I know if that's true or not? No. Just watching what we've been seeing go on, that's what it is, get Napoleon out. And I think the way they're probably going to get him out is, remember that trial where they had the meter maid, the water maid, the water commissioner. They had the footprints in the snow. They had Michael Smith to prove he didn't live allegedly in Thornton Township, right? I think that's how they're going to get him out. That's my opinion. So we were long-winded. I appreciate y'all. Hit the like button on the way out. I appreciate all y'all support. You've been so kind to me.
Can I be recognized, Mayor?
You want to be long-winded? I'm just acting.
And I'm just a messenger. Don't come suing me.
I got some clothes. I got some jewelry. The rest I got tied up in investments. I ain't got nothing else.
Bye.
Commentary blue. Commentary burgundy. Commentary commentary blue. Commentary burgundy blue. Commentary blue.